I'm passionate about helping people make profound life changes. For my entire career, 27 years as a professional, for my entire career, I've been passionate about helping people make those changes. I call it life changing, and we'll laugh. If it's teaching a class, if it's giving a speech or doing a training, I always start off like, this is going to be life changing. And we laugh. But the reason why I say that is that even though we can have some fun around it, the reality is that for something to be truly life changing, it doesn't have to be that you changed the entire world or that you built an entire city. For something to be life-changing, it means you changed a pattern, you changed a path that you were taking, and you were able to do it in a way that altered the course of the direction that your life will take. That might mean something as simple as, instead of using the phrase "you said," replacing that with "I thought I heard you say." That might be so little and so trivial to someone, but the reality is that alone is a life-changing thing. So imagine you're in a disagreement with your loved one, and you say, "You said," and then they get defensive because maybe they mostly said what you are about to say, but maybe you were off. Maybe you were off by a simple word or two. So technically, now they can say, "No, I didn't say that." And now you find yourself in an argument of semantics. When the reality was, you got the gist of what they said, but now you're talking about the semantics and you're not talking about what the message actually was. And all of that could be changed by saying, "I thought I heard you say," or you said something to the effect of, and by not being specific, and by saying something as "I thought I heard you say," you allow room for any of those corrections while you maintain focus on whatever it was that was truly important. A little thing from going from "you said" to "I thought I heard you say" can have profound repercussions on your life. It might seem small now, but that's because you might take for granted how big an argument can get that starts with a misunderstanding. Wars have been fought over things that started as misunderstandings. So it's no small deal. And look, hindsight bias occurs when we get information and then we believe we already had that information. And to me, it's one of the biggest inhibitors to personal growth, because as long as we roll along with our hindsight bias and believe that we actually did have that information, as long as we believe that we actually already knew whatever the information was, then we don't remain humble. And we believe that because we already had the answer, there's no reason to maintain openness. Conversely, when we truly believe that we have more to learn, then when it comes to hindsight bias, instead of saying, "Now I know I already knew that," would say, "You know what, I didn't know that. Teach me more," or "I'm still learning." Michelangelo used the phrase ancora imparo, which is "I am still learning." And this phrase was important because it represents humility. Humility is the essence of leading with the understanding that you have more to learn. And we all have more to learn. And all too often people say that intellectually here, and they don't really get it here. But to really mean "I am still learning," then that would mean that when I say "you said," I'm not declaring this was 100% right. I'm going, "My understanding was," or "I thought I heard you say," or "you said something to the effect of." And by using any of those softer phrases, we skirt around the potential to argue over something that's trivial, and now we get to the heart of whatever it was that the real thing occurred. And then that little aspect to your communication changes, so your entire dialogue changes. And again, here's where hindsight bias can derail that. If you miss an argument and then you say, well, it's no big deal, or we didn't argue, because you used the phrase, I thought I heard you say, then you can downplay that it was not that big of a deal. However, for 27 years, I've sat with people and I've watched them come in and talk about miscommunications, how that led to families falling apart, the anger, the arguments, the divorce, the separation, all of that chaos occurs. It begins somewhere. So being able to start consciously in your communication is not a small deal. It is, in fact, life-changing. All of it is. I'm here, if I can help, be a guide for any part of your journey. If I can help, well, that's what my life is devoted to. Until next time, as always, I wish you much peace.